do you mean?
He was born with it.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
Throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament of champions. That dragon marking? I think it's an invitation to fight for something known. As Mortal Kombat.
These are your champions.
I'm Sonya. That's Kano.
I'm Liu Kang.
Name's Jax.
Kung Lao.
Lord Raiden.
The fate of Earth is in our hands.
No matter how many of my people you put in the ground, we will not fail. Kill them. I am Sub-Zero.
Aloha! This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man. And Friday night of this weekend, what dropped on HBO Max was finally the movie, the new movie, the 2021 version of Warner Brothers' Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat! Mortal Kombat! Oh, so yes. And remember our rating scale, shock a thumbs up. It's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down. It's junk, I don't recommend it. And for the latest and greatest Mortal Kombat movie, live action, not the animated stuff we've been getting lately, it is a shock and thumbs down. Now, it really pains me to say that. And I will caveat it that it's not a really bad shock and thumbs down, but when you compare it to the former glory and the greatness that was the very original Mortal Kombat movie back in 1995, where that was a strong shock a thumbs up, and still as of today remains one of the best video game adaptation to movies ever made. You know, this latest Mortal Kombat movie stinks. It just, is a shock a thumbs down compared to the original. And that's even with all the whitewashing, Raiden being Christopher Lambert from that 1995 version. History and time has not been kind to that movie. But still, overall, I would say that the martial arts action in that movie is superior to this one, given a few exceptions, such as the, as some of the Scorpion Sub-Zero fight that you saw in the trailer, those main ones. And of course, the special effects are much better in this movie, and even some of the acting is better. Some of the actors, are far superior to what they were before. However, story-wise, the essential and what would seem like the easiest, you're taking this straight from the video game, you have a wonderful template to follow in the very first 1995 movie, and yet they fail to tell a compelling story. I found myself thinking very much of the Jiu-Jitsu movie that went straight to video that I'd done a shock a thumbs down on earlier, saying that it was a bad ripoff of a Mortal Kombat Predator kind of movie. And unfortunately, this latest Mortal Kombat movie simply reminded me of jiu-jitsu, and not even what it was supposed to, the major source material of the video game, or even a resemblance of the very first 1995 movie. So yeah, this Mortal Kombat movie is a shock a thumbs down, unfortunately. And again, that's all because of the story. Special effects are great in this, as you saw in the trailer, you know, where Sub-Zero stabs Scorpion with his own blood. That's pretty awesome. Their fight scenes are fabulous. If they had stuck to telling the story of that rivalry between Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and had just had those be our main two characters that they focus on, maybe just bring in and touch a little bit upon the rest of the Mortal Kombat characters and the games in the background. But no, you know, from that very first trailer that really gripped a lot of us, they showed that, you know, the history where, you know, Scorpion becomes Scorpion, his family is killed, and he has this quest for revenge against Sub-Zero. All that is, you know, starts off the movie, but then is immediately brushed over because that's in history, and then it's brushed over into modern day, where we catch up with an ancestor of Scorpion, who basically does not realize that he is of the famous ninja clan, although he is a good MMA fighter, played by I think Lewis Tan. And Lewis Tan is a wonderful actor, and I gotta say, Lewis, you need a new agent. You need somebody that's fighting for you harder than what you got now, because, you know, you should have been Iron Fist. You know, you were given a part in Iron Fist as the drunken master, but honestly, you should have been Iron Fist. And I know, you know, the Netflix Marvel guys, they didn't want you. They wanted that white guy, and that was a terrible mistake. Not that, unfortunately, you would have done too much better with the story of Iron Fist in the way that they were portraying it in that first season anyways. But you were also in Assassins of Wu on Netflix as a bit player, as a secondary character, when you should have been the star. Sure, they got the guy from the raid in there, but, you know, he's hard to understand. He was hard to relate to. And that story for the whole Assassins of Wu, no matter how good the action was in it, was crap. That's why I didn't review. I was going to review Assassins of Wu, that whole series, but that was a shock a thumbs down overall. It wasn't even worth me reviewing. But you were good. Your acting is good. Your martial arts is good. But unfortunately, we don't see much of it in this new Mortal Kombat movie. The most of the martial arts that we see comes from the Scorpion and the Sub-Zero fight. The man who plays your father, you know, that person playing Scorpion does an amazing job, fine job. That fight choreography against the person who plays Sub-Zero is spectacular. However, you and the other Mortal Kombat cast members, we have Jax, we have Sonya Blade, we have, who's that guy? The cyborg kind of guy who isn't even a cyborg in this movie, the Australian guy. Gosh, I should, Kano. He doesn't even have, you know, cybernetics. None of those guys, you know, really do much as far as fighting. They do pretty good in the basic choreography, but it's not the outstanding stuff, the standout, groundbreaking stuff that we had seen in the very first Mortal Kombat movie. Even the guy playing Liu, is not up to snuff as far as the acting or what we get to see of his martial arts. He may be a great martial artist. He may be able to fight, but we don't really get to see too much of it. He does a couple of blows, a couple of kicks, but you know, all the choreography, it just cuts away to like special powers and stuff, and he's shooting flames and stuff, and that's kind of cool. And again, his acting is much weaker than even the original famous person who had played Liu in the very 1995 version. So all upon that, it does not compare to the very first one, which is again just a terrible shame to Louis Tan, who looks like he has the potential for being a great actor if he is just given the chance to shine in a good role. Yeah, I mean, he looks like a leading man, and finally he is given the vehicle to be a leading man in Mortal Kombat, but the story just falters upon him, and he's not given anything to work with, and neither are these other characters. Even Raiden is not compelling in this movie, as much as say what you will against the whitewashing that Christopher Lambert did. At least he was compelling, he was mysterious, he was interesting. They don't give Raiden anything to work with here. The whole story of, oh, you know, we've got to fight to defend Earth from outer world, and we're down to the last fight. All that just seems really thrown together, very much like Jiu-Jitsu had. You know, people just don't know what's going on, and then they're thrown together and told, this is what's going on in like 5 minutes. Hurry up and train, because you got to fight in the next couple of days. You know, I to be honest, what they should have done was had everyone known, you know, about, or most everyone known about Mortal Kombat and been training for it, just like Jiu-Jitsu did. Save, again, just like Jiu-Jitsu did, the main character, Louis Tam, maybe coming in and, you know, being a good fighter, being very talented, but not knowing that he is, you know, like they did in this one, the son of you know, Scorpion, and he has to learn that. You know, they could have kept all that the same, but yet shown, you know, everyone else more determined, more willing, and knowing what they were getting into, so that they could spend the time with Louis training to get him up to speed and know what to expect in this battle to save the Earth, Mortal Kombat. Here, if you had not seen the original, if you hadn't played the games, you're really going into this super cold. You know, with the characters, just especially the villains, just being brushed over, everything from Goro to, gosh, you know, Shadow to everybody. They're just kind of thrown in there, go get those good guys and take them out. It's incredible how they could fail so poorly on this movie, something that seems so simple after the glorious first one. But then again, you know, you look at the direct sequel from that 1995 movie, you know, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and you know, there you have it. But that's without the budget of the studio behind it. That's with just people with pocket change saying, hey, we're going to take this and roll with it and get a sequel. At least the story in that one was compelling. At least, you know, the characters were motivated to succeed in that one. Sure, the special effects sucked in it, but the martial arts were far better than, again, what they show in this. And you know, that's not knocking Louis Tam and, you know, some of the other guys in this. It's just that they didn't focus on the fighting, and in a movie like Mortal Kombat, you have to focus on the fighting. regardless of if you have a great story or not. And they certainly failed to present a great story in this. You know, that's the bottom line. So for all of those reasons, it is a Shaka thumbs down. I really hope that Louis Tan lands on his feet from this role, that somebody takes a look at him and continues to offer him great roles or better roles. Like I said, you know, he needs a new agent. There's no reason he should not have been, you know, having been passed over for Iron Fist. You know, admittedly, you know, I hate to say it, but he looks more Caucasian than he does Asian, so maybe Shang-Chi was out of the question for him, but he certainly should have had a part in Shang-Chi. You know, technically he should maybe be Shang-Chi. There's got to be some kind of action drama role for him, because he is that good of an actor and he is that good at action, and there's no reason he should be slumming in these kind of movies, playing second fiddle. He needs to be the leading man like he was in Mortal Kombat, this Mortal Kombat film, but with a much better script. All right, so again, Shaka thumbs down for this new Mortal Kombat. It's not worth going to go see in theaters, even if you're a real diehard fan of the game and of the other movies. You will only be disappointed. Just save it for when it comes out on video. If you have HBO Max and you're watching it for free, then you're not losing it anything with your subscription anyways. So, you know, it's worth an hour and a half for that, but definitely not going to the theater. All right. Thank you so much. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, saying Shaka thumbs down for the new Mortal Kombat show, unfortunately. Mahalo and aloha.